Welcome to another episode of our set maneuver series. This time we're going to be looking at the time warp. This has been in global 3D for the last couple of years. It's essentially a figure of 8 which is made up of two traveling 12-point tictoc circuits where the rudder direction is reversed for the second circuit. The main shaft should point at the center of each circuit as it goes round, and you start and finish in a stationary hover. So let's have a look at it. So that was the maneuver from beginning to end. So it starts in a hover. We're now going to pull back and then do a skids in 12-point circuit. 1, 2, 3. And you can see the model is now horizontal. 4, 5, 6. So the nose down at this point. 7, 8, 9. Horizontal again. 10, 11, 12. So now the tail direction is going to reverse and we're going to complete a blades in 12-point tictoc circuit. 1, 2, 3 to horizontal, 6 to vertical, 9 to horizontal, 12 and down. There are about 16 different ways of doing this maneuver. You can start nose left, nose right. You can do the blades in circuit first or the skids in circuit. You can do them with an anti-clockwise start or a clockwise start. This is my preferred version. First of all, it's because when I pull up into the nose up position, the tail thrust is already moving me around the circuit, so it's a fairly easy start. You can see I pull up here, the tail thrust is already going to start moving me towards in and around. Now you'll notice over here, we're still nose to the left, so I'm doing this rotation so that we're not actually reversing the direction. Same thing, if you're very strong with the nose to the left, you'll see in the 6 o'clock, and basically all the way around the circuit, your nose is always to the left. So here in the crossover, the tail thrust is pushing us through. This gets a bit harder because now we're fighting the tail thrust. And then you can see the ending is probably a little bit harder because you have to stop the model, you have to stop the inertia while the tail thrust is trying to bring it towards us. Let's have a look at another variation. Although this one starts nose left as well, we're actually going to move away from us and we're also going to move into a blades in circuit first. So this one is a little bit more difficult in the beginning because you're fighting the tail thrust. The model is being pushed towards us and we're actually going to start by moving away. It does result in a slightly smaller circuit. But Global 3D doesn't specify the minimum size of the circuit. They just state it should be a circuit. So I would imagine anything more than 5 meters would be classified as a circuit. You will have to fight it here a bit because you fight in the tail. So here the tail is pushing you round. And you should have a slightly easier finish because the model wants to stop. So not a bad option. Definitely worth trying all 16 variations. So how do you go about learning this maneuver? I couldn't find any smart way of doing it, so it came down to just being a brute force attack. You need to practice each of the tictoc positions until you can control the speed and height of the circuit. For that I do a bit of static practice, so the model stays in the same place, but you practice all of the positions. So we'll practice the first nose up, and we'll do a couple of those, and then we'll switch to the 1 o'clock position. You do a couple of those, and I mean the whole time you're fighting the height, you're fighting to keep it in the same place. That's the 2 o'clock position. And then the 3, which is what most of us can do. And so on and so forth. So once you've done the static ones, you can try and move around into circuits as well. You definitely want to count, so make sure you're hitting all of the marks. So 6 is vertical, 9 will be horizontal, bang, and then back into the center. Though this is a really tricky maneuver, there are so many benefits to being able to tictoc in all of those positions. I mean, you can take the time warp and you can throw it into a freestyle routine. So here I come into a nose down wall, I then go into a mini time warp, one of the circuits. There we go, hit the 6 o'clock position, bang, and you're out. It really you can fit it in just about everywhere anyway. If anybody does come up with a smart way of practicing these, I'd be really interested to hear. But until then, it's just going to be a lot of tictoc practice. So good luck. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these videos.